Hi, everyone. It is Monday. It's a few minutes after 11. I'm sorry. I'm just on the struggle bus, a little bit of multitasking. So it's summer still, right? And I'm in full-time mom mode. And so Mondays get a little sticky, tricky. Hi, Paula. Okay. Oh, no, this is how things are going today. Okay, hang on. Sorry, Instagrammy. Hang on. This is the literalness of my morning right now. But we're going to do this. Things that we always do feel a little bit like the struggle bus today. Hang on. We'll get there. As you guys enter the room, I think we're good now. I'm not going to touch anything. Live and real. Okay, hi, it's Monday, few minutes late, totally a little bit on the Monday struggle bus of juggling mom duties and work. So hi, even though it's not work to hang out with you all. As you come in the room, just say hi, little emoji, little comment. Let's do our housekeeping first. In some respects, it's a regular week this week. Hi, Charlotte. There's no... there's no major transits happening this week. That being said, there's a lot going on in the sky, like there always is. Hi, Brianna. So this month, August, is it still August? I don't even know anymore. Hi, Kayla. If you are not yet a member of Unicorn Wellness Studio, this month you can use the code GimmeDemand, and you'll see it in my Instagram feed a ton. And then it'll be in the comment section below on this YouTube video also. If you all sign up and become a member this month with that code GimmeDemand, that code only, then I'm also sending you my preferred resistance band. So you'll get your first 30 days free on the site, yay, to try it out, see how it goes, and a resistance band. And you kind of go, why a band? Who cares? Everybody's got a resistance band. Not all resistance bands are created equal. It affects your workout, what type of band you use. So if you're doing my workouts, but you're using a different band, the experience is actually different and the results can be very different. So for those of you who are making the leap to becoming a member this month, I'm giving you one. So it's $42 of value for free. Yay. And so if you have any questions about that, but I'm trying to do a lot of education on the Instagram lives and in the feed, also like in my profile feed. So you all get to hear and see, what the band is really about and why it's exciting. Every other workout. Hey, you guys, there's a cat in my house. She's getting very brave yesterday and today, and she may just end up in the video or knocking things over. So be ready for that. Okay, I'm going to open this door for her. Yes, I hear you, boo-boo. Do you want to come say hi? Can you guys hear her? I know, you're being so brave. You've been very brave this morning. She wandered onto the counters this morning. Can you hear her? And my desk. This has been new. She almost knocked over my smoothie. So anyhow, I'm doing a lot of education on the band this month because they're not all created equal. Every other workout on the site typically has a prop with it. So for those of you who are embarking newly on, the workouts on Unicorn Wellness Studio, I want you to at least have one prop to start with. She's really a talker too. She's so pretty. I don't know if you guys have seen her. I'm trying to post her in the Instagram story. She hid for like a good 5 days. And now she's so sweet, but like everything terrifies her. So it's like, jumping up here. She's like, ah. So the band is like going to be thread throughout things all this month. And it's like, I don't know, it's just a fun way to get it onto the site, right? Hey, come work out, come listen to the meditations, come listen to the tarot and get a present. Hooray! Yeah, she's such a sweet pea. I hope you'll get to see her, but she's just starting to jump up onto things, so I don't know, and she's not super keen on being picked up. She's like a love bug to be petted, but she's really just adjusting here. So there you go. Okay, so the band code for those of you who are joining the site this month, hooray! And then there's some stuff going on behind the scenes. So for those who are members of Unicorn Wellness Studio, you guys have been getting emails about some things that are going to adjust a little bit in September. Can't share that with the general public just yet, but soon, okay? Then I'm going to leak a tiny bit of information because it's been, teased to the members about me doing some small group coaching. I've never done it in this exact format before, although way back in the day, like when we first launched the site, I did do a small group coaching of 10 students that was really more in depth and a lot more accountability and more connection. And it's really for accountability. I want to put it that way. Like coaching, like, yes, like I will give you the information, but there are those of you who keep reaching out and like, I just need a little bit more. Like I'm still tripping up on setting the patterns and setting the habits and setting the tactics of either getting on the mat, doing the food reset, sticking to my food code, doing my meditations, really utilizing the tarot information that you all get as members on the site for unicornwellness.studio. So I'm leaking this information that I am going to start small group coaching. It will be a limited number of 8, maximum 8 people. The information's going to come out hopefully by the end of the week. My intention was by the end of today, but being on the struggle bus of momming and life and work, I don't think that's realistic. So for those of you who have inquired privately about the small group coaching, because you're interested, right? I have a wait list of 7 already. So if you're interested in the small group coaching, the details are going to come out this week. And I really feel like it's going to be like whoever purchases first wins their spot, because there's a lot of interest, and I understand there's always interest, really until it gets down to what's it going to cost to do. And this we're really looking at as an investment. This will be the first time I'm running it in this capacity, so it's a tiny bit of a beta testing group also. And I know you guys are like, well, just tell me what it is. What are we going to do? The magical mentoring that I was doing at 30 minutes at a time for members is really fun and it works, but 30 minutes at a time is just not enough of in depth to really have the coaching support that you all want and need. So in a small group capacity, you all will get a 5-card reading offline every month. From that 5-card reading, I'm going to send you an email, short and sweet, of your personal mantras, maybe 1, could be 3, who knows, what comes through in the reading. Then I'm going to give you like a coaching to-do list, like the things that need to get done. Could be 1, could be 3 items. It's not going to be a lot. I want, as always, things to be actionable, right? And not overwhelming, that you're going to build layers of things. Those who are part of the small group coaching are going to get a 30-minute phone call with me individually every month. And those phone calls are going to take their own turns, right? Like you can talk about whatever you want to talk about and needs support or needs airing or needs venting or needs listening to in that month. Then we're also going to do a live video call, like tutorial. But if you can't make it live, because we are all scattered all over the world, you're going to get that video, emailed to you, and you get to keep it and you'll have access to it from a web link. So the small group coaching is a bit of a beta test this go around, but not really. It's what I've done for forever. We just haven't done it, not kidding, probably in 4 years. So it's just come up quite a bit. So the full details of it will be out this week at some point, but I thought I've gotten more emails than I anticipated about it, and I thought I probably need to drop some more info out here to you guys. I will send it to the members first. You all always get priority on booking private things and the coaching and the access to me in the calendar. So once it's up and out, hi guys, then I will share it with the members first this week and in the private Facebook group. Then it'll be live to the general public. So it's going to be a maximum of 8 students in the private coaching group, the small group coaching. It's going to be at a super discounted rate this first go round. Then it's a 4-month commitment. Then when I run it again, rates can go up a little bit, but we're adding things to it. So this is like the first step out of the gate. One, you guys are asking for it, so I want to get it out. And I want the opportunity to, just test how it goes this first time and then add one other component to it after those 4 months. The second round of it, so this will be September, October, November, December. Yes, so January will be the second round of the small group coaching. I mean it, y'all are so like so cool about this because y'all are asking for the second round already. Like if you're traveling, you've got stuff going on, you're like, I can't do it this one, but I want the next one. Oh, hi, Renee. So nice. Yeah, so this will be an every 4-month thing. So 4 is the number of consistency, persistence, and longevity. So I know it's like it's not the 6-month or 12-month training, but we're trying to move ourselves out of this Gregorian calendar blocks, even though we do function in it partially. That I feel like 4 months is enough to get momentum on something, to see if something's really going to work for you, and then we can, adjust and re-up the next go around. 8 is the maximum students in this group. So you all are really excited about it, and I'm just grateful that you're so excited. So it is shifting some things. So there's a lot of new projects behind the scenes. And again, members are hearing about it first. And so we still have another week or so to go before I share it with the public of some of the adjustments that are going on. So just know that I'm over here working my took us off. August was supposed to be, take the month off. And it's like, double down, triple down on what we're doing. But it's really exciting. And the response from you all is really encouraging. So I'm like, I can't wait to share the next bits with you all. The focus for the 4 months will be a small group coaching. So it's going to be very different. So the emails that I've been sending out have teased this without the details because I was still working out the details of it. So by the end of this week, there will be details given to the members of Unicorn Wellness Studio first about the small group coaching, because magical mentoring is going to shift from these 30-minute sessions into this small group coaching maximum of 8 students. So it will be a paid premium offering, and it will include a 5-card reading every month, a to-do list from me based on that 5-card reading with personal and specific unique mantras, affirmations, crystals, essential oils, like whatever comes through in the reading that's going to support you best in your goals is what we're going to give you in a much more unique, detailed way. Those who are going to do this small group coaching are going to get a 30-minute phone call with me every month. Then we're going to do a live video for all of the students, understanding that there's no way to get the time right for everyone. So if you can't show up to the live tutorial, that's okay. I'm going to email you the link afterwards, and you can still email me and ask whatever you want, in this space. Those who are going to embark on the small group coaching with me for this 4-month commitment, you guys will get priority in my inbox. That my commitment is to answering you all really within 24 hours of an email for the coaching series. So I don't think that's everything, but I think that's most of it. And so this is going to be the first go round. It's going to be discounted quite a bit for members. And like I said, I already have a wait list of 7 people who are genuinely interested. So those who have reached out via email, I've responded to you personally. And I'm not trying to be mysterious about this. It's just taking time to sort it and to get it live on the site as an offering, and then get a decent email that's, makes sense to you all. So Unicorn, Wellness Studio members get to hear it first in priority, and snag their spots, and then we'll offer it to the general public because non-members are totally welcome. Y'all are going to pay just a tiny bit more for it, but you'll also get access to the site at the same time. So that's one of the things we've been working on the back end. Oh, thanks, Bree. Oh, it's interesting because this small group coaching, I've kind of done this for a couple years with it. And then it's like, oh, wait, I did this, I think it was 4 or 5 years ago. And I had people apply for it, and they had to write kind of an essay of application. And at that point I got flooded with applications for it. It was crazy. But it's also a lot. It's a lot of time commitment for me and for those who are participating, but it's a lot in what you get and feeling really supported and much more handheld in the goals that you're trying to achieve. So for small group coaching with me, this is not just about your wellness, although it's always about your wellness. It's about, if you have, work goals, personal goals, like whatever the goals are, they all integrate and speak one to the next. I genuinely, absolutely believe and know that when you become a member of Unicorn Wellness Studio and really work the mat, the meditation, and the tarot, your outside goals start to be more achievable, and it's seriously clear as to what you're trying to achieve. So with this small group coaching, I'm trying to support what's already going on. You all are asking for more of my time in constructive ways, right? And we need to be thoughtful. Everybody's resources, time, money, and energy matter. And this is a premium paid thing because you all have so much support as members, right? The private group, these Mondays, all of your readings. But if we're going to take that next level, I do believe it's really important to invest in yourself and invest in the process. And again, my schedule's really limited. I, for years didn't take private clients. So these readings that we've done for the last 2 years, those were new for a long time. So in order for me to facilitate small group coaching, other things have to come off the plate. But I felt like, because you all were asking for it, that it was really worthwhile to do. So it's this week, details are coming. I gave you a lot of details right now. So just be on the lookout. The private group, maybe I'll just post it there tonight because that'll be a simple thing. And yeah, so that's the biggest piece of housekeeping this week, aside from waiting to see if the cat's going to jump and knock things down again. There are other new projects, but we can't share them yet. And so lots of exciting things, not trying to be mysterious or weird. It's just not time yet. Make sure that you've read your newsletter for the month. If you're not members, you can always read the newsletter also. In fact, I think it's a beautiful entry point to go, what is all this about? What does she really teach? If you're on Instagram, you can go to my profile and sign up for the newsletter there. And in my Instagram stories, I try to keep a fresh web link for you all to read during the weeks also. So newsletter is a great place to go back to. You all have a discount code for K-Deer clothing. Please use it. It's still till through the end of this month, till the 31st. Don't let it go to waste. It's 15% off for those of you who read the newsletter or catch the posts in the Instagram stories. Their stuff's awesome. It's fun. It's bright. It's high quality. It lasts for forever. And I don't know if we'll do another code again. So use it while you got it. Wednesday, we have our Instagram live with one of our unicorn members. So every Wednesday is a meet my unicorns, right? And so they're members of the tribe, of the site, who do amazing things in the world. I just want you guys to get to know each other better. So Katie Farrow will be with us this week. She is a cancer survivor and has a lot to say about cancer awareness and how food plays into it and the process. Plus, she makes beautiful things. So we're going to show some of the stuff she makes and just talk about the process. And she's been a friend of mine for over 20 years. So she's awesome. I want to share her with you. Okay, this week, it's August 19th through the 25th. So we will do our weekly reading here pretty quick. So there's not anything epic, there's no eclipse. Nothing's shifting into direct motion. Nothing's, shifting into its retrograde orbit. But just as a rundown, I think there's things that we should hear, right? That Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, Pluto, and Chiron are still in retrograde. So this is 5 elements. They're 4 planets plus Chiron. Chiron's an asteroid, but it's a major player in particular for unicorns because Chiron's the wounded healer, has to do with our personal healing. Anytime things are retrograde, this is a call to reevaluate, to go within. It's an inside job. It's emotions, it's thoughts, it's subconscious programmings. So it's high time for healing and for awareness and ahas, right? So that's still at play. And these are going to be interwoven and intermixed just for a while because they all have their different orbits. So those are shifting, right? It still feels, it's Leo season and it's guns blazing. Let's, sow and play and be loud and be big. But it may still feel but I'm still thinking and journaling and all the feels are coming up. This is just what it is. So this is literally why we meet every week, to look at the tarot reading, see what the energies at play are. How do we navigate them in a weekly basis? How do we harness the good stuff for healing and evolution and progress and manifestation? And how do we minimize the hard stuff that's going to feel like me knocking over my camera when I started and the cat knocking over food? life is complicated, but when you know what's coming and what we're working with, then you have choices and options of how to be empowered in the situation, to go slow or to like make decisions real fast and feel empowered by the process rather than capsized by it. Okay. So there's still a lot retrograde. There's a lot to learn, a lot to discover, a lot to heal. And it's really loud right now in relationships. Strangely enough, I think that Aquarius full moon last week, I mean, we get the energies for 2 weeks at a time, right? Is still playing its way out. It like, starts to diminish, but it's still there. And as much as Aquarius's ideas, it wants to solve for the highest and greatest good of all. So this moon's got this heavy tie to relationships. But remember, what's the most important relationship? With yourself. And so Aquarius wants to solve. It doesn't want to point fingers. It doesn't blame. It does not participate in victim mentality. It just goes and solves it. So it can feel really dry. Yeah, I mean, I think the last 2 weeks can be really rough. There's also some other big things at play that I think would have more to do with like your personal charts. Mine's getting like hit hard in all the water elements, which are the psychic capacity elements. So mine's just getting like this Uranus retrograde is like dragging over my Chiron wound, which is serving to heal and be very empowering, but it's a little exhausting at the same time. So there's so many things going on, but they're all manageable. We just need to be aware of how they play out, right? But I do hear and know that this Aquarius full moon is really just throwing the highlight on relationships. The day of the full moon, I got an email that was like, oh, like the one kind of odd energy relationship that's still floating around in my life really was raising its hand to be addressed. But it can also be sweet stuff, right? Like what's good, what's getting better. And then if you're not having this last full moon, reflect and like flashlight negative things that need to be worked on, look at where the good stuff is. And then if that's even feeling a little groggy, and you're like, there's not, interpersonal relationships happening, like what's the relationship with yourself? Like how are you treating yourself? How are you talking to yourself? How are you navigating better with that internal perfectionist that wants to point fingers and wants to blame? Because Aquarius ain't having it. Aquarius is like, dude, forget it, and just kind of walks off. Like, I'm gonna go think about something higher level and more strategy oriented and tech and humanitarian, and how can we really solve problems for the highest and greatest good? Okay. So Aquarius energy also takes the self out of it and really looks at, it's the we over me big time. So that energy is stirring around. And I think, like Chris says, like, oh, they've been really rough and we're getting poked at, relationship wise. But that's to solve, that's to heal, that's to move forward. And then the other thing I wanted to mention this week, because it's Unicorn Wellness, and the forecast, we are looking at it for our whole lives, right? But wellness is at the center of our lives, right? Wellness is everything in play and in balance, everything in play and in balance, right? That your physical wellness is happy, that your mental wellness is in balance, that your emotional wellness is being tended to and being seen, and that there's self-care in all of these bits in order to allow for better relationships, in order to allow for better solutions and for goal getting and manifestation, right? So the thing that's happening right now and through the last few days is that we have a little pile up. There's stellium in Leo. So Mercury, Venus, Mars, and the Sun are sitting in Leo right now. And Leo's always, like the heart of things. It's the biggest heart of the zodiac and always gets seen as like so fun. Leo's fun, but Leo can also be like all the ego, and it's just so big that sometimes Leo sucks up all the light in the room. I get to say this because I'm Leo rising, right? Like those with prominent Leo in their simple stars chart, sun, rising, or moon, we have heard more than a few times, it's like, everything's always about you. Okay, yeah, we are a little self-centric, but we mean well. It can just get a little out of control sometimes. So with so many planets elements sitting in Leo, things can just feel like a lot. And that's what I feel like the struggle bus this morning was about for me. I was like, why is it's the same? I got the same amount of time, the same kids, like, why am I behind the curve? And I just feel like I need some space. A stellium is three or more, celestial elements in a house. And so it just starts to feel a little crowded, like if you've had your simple stars chart done, there's a triangle. There's really only room for three to sit in there nicely. You get four or five or six, and it's like, where's their room? So things may feel full, may feel crowded, may feel like too much, and energetically you may feel like you need to push some things off and create an arm's distance space. The biggest thing about having this many elements in Leo is that Leo is our solar plexus. It's our gut. So this is manifestation central and confidence, right? But when you have so much brewing in there with the sun is heat and willpower, right? Is that it looks like the sun just, heats everything up. So it could feel like a lot of bloating, a lot of digestive issues in the gut right now, in the solar plexus. And it's summer in the northern hemisphere. So keep the heat down. I have had to have my own talk with myself about this. So, caffeine, coffee in particular, any kind of cayenne peppers, nightshades, things that generate heat in the body, we want to stay away from right now. They're not helping. Go towards anything green. Yeah, I had a green smoothie this morning. I'm still working on it. Anything green or white is like the simplistic version of how to cool a system down. So these are just things that you really want to be aware of right now. With so much in Leo, we may get a little like, ooh, in our gut and digestively feel heat and trouble digesting things. Now, understand that on the spiritual, emotional level, that this is, when we have digestive disorders, these are things we just can't stomach in the world. And so, anybody with IBS, with celiac, with Crohn's disease, when we have digestive disorders, there is a link to our emotions. So it's important that in this period of time, you take time to sit and have a meal. Traditional Chinese medicine really says don't have any difficult conversations during mealtime, because it affects the digestion. So this pile up in Leo, a lot of heat, a lot of busyness. It's going to end up in the solar plexus because that's what Leo rules. And so our confidence may, feel at extremes. One minute you're like, yeah, I'm empowered. Everybody look at me, because that's totally Leo. And then the next minute you're like, oh God, what is happening? Don't anybody look at me because I'm not done yet. Leo's actually strangely shy, unless they know the role that they're playing in the world, what they're protecting, what they're teaching. So it's an interesting time, as always, but if you're feeling some digestive gut stuff, feeling a little extra bloated, just be aware of that and be kind to it, because that's where it's highlighting right now. And then you go, okay, how do I manage that aside from the cooling foods? The mat is always a wonderful place to be, and meditation, big time. Okay, so I'm trying to catch in on some of the comments. Yeah, totally. Any place that you have a stellium in your chart, and some charts are just loaded with them. My poor older son, he's got like 3 stelliums in like 3 houses in a row. And you're like, oh, buddy. I always look at it as a house that's a little bit of a hoarder, right? It's kind of hard to move around in there. So you're going to have to learn to clear things out and deal with it in the right ways. The moons this week are in Aries, Taurus, and Gemini. Aries moon, a little feisty sometimes. So again, there's more heat involved here. Aries is like young and naive and masculine power. So anger always comes in like quick anger. So just be aware, again, that cooling, keeping things cool, keeping your cool, taking that breath before you respond is really important, through tomorrow, and the next, really through tomorrow. So just know that there's a little heat pile up happening. Taurus is always nice, I think, because it's really grounding, willing to do the work. But sometimes Taurus just wants to cozy up and like have a duvet day, like, so there may be this sense of laziness because there's overwhelm, like of wanting to hide midweek. And then Gemini wants to chat, talk it out, which I think would be really useful at the end of this week as we sift through this. So the workouts on the site on unicornwellness.studio right now are working with these energies, right? So today is the last day of your band workout. So that's more strength oriented, right? So when things get fiery and are based in Aries, push pull, you need an outlet to sift through them. So it's a bit of a more challenging workout on purpose. Then tomorrow you got a new workout that's all core. Hello, pile up in Leo. So when things are like intense in this core centric space, then we want to do core work to try to create empowerment, sort it, and feel like, oh, I know how this goes together, rather than it feel like it's like, oh, what's happening in there? And then towards the end of the weekend, you're going to have your next new one for this week. And it's a real classical Pilates movement. Because again, we're going through like this heated business. Then you get all the, emotional confidence, lack of confidence, digestive issues. So we're going to work on the core. And then we're going to move into like classical Pilates, which is always let's just put things back together. So we're in Gemini energy at the very end of the week. Classical Pilates is really the balance and the medicine for Gemini. Gemini's all over the place and they need like rails and structure. So we're bringing that in with a real classical workout towards the end of the week of like, okay, let's just clean things out. Let's just put them in order. The workout at the end of the week will feel very Virgo. I feel like here's your list. Just check them off, get it done. You're going to feel better because it's in order. So that's what's happening this week. All right. How are you guys feeling? Throw some comments out there. We'll get into the reading. Okay. I'm going to have a sip of my crazy smoothie and our new cat. Her name, I think we're calling her Mouse. She was Minnie, but she's more of a mouse. So we have a cat named Mouse. But she left. Okay. Little sips, but how are you guys feeling this week? Lee made a really good point. So here's the other weird thing that happens with caffeine in the heat. This is known to those who work with food a lot, work with food allergies, sensitivities, and intolerances, that often our body craves like the worst thing for it. And you're like, what? How does this happen? I don't really know the science. I just know it's true. So I am very clear about my love of espresso. Meanwhile, that's the last bastion of battle for me because it's an indulgence. It's something I can, purchase out. A lot of foods I can't eat out. And so I keep more of it in my system at times that I need to. And typically in the spring and the summer, I always break up with it for at least 3 weeks to kind of cleanse and reset the palate. But in this heat, it's strange because I start to crave it, but it's too hot for it. So like Lee said, it's like a little reminder. I'm trying to be kind to the physical system. I backed off. I lowered down to my tiny little cup, one tiny cup, so that I'm not being mean to my adrenals and pulling it all the way out either and just like quitting. But yeah, it's a thing to crave what is worst for your body. Yeah, it's really, the bloating is real right now. Sometimes of like the etheric and the magical that happens over here. I don't always share all of it, but last 2 days for sure, I really felt like I needed to be returned to the ocean. Little Reiki treatment and some big old visualizations about seaweed and cooling. And for the last week, I've been like, we need to get down to fish and more, lighter foods in the house. And it was big time reiterated yesterday for us because the digestive stuff was just like real. But I can back off of caffeine pretty fast off my espresso. It just is sad because I love it. Oh, you were at the sea. We went to the pool to try to assist. It immediately started raining. I mean, yesterday and today I've been like, what is happening? Came home, took an Epsom salt bath. felt significantly better. And then and I went grocery shopping to get all of the seaweed, all of the fish, all of the white rice, and just get on the wagon. And again, be like, okay, that needs a green smoothie. So there you go. Okay. Yeah, okay, Lee, that's a good question. So Lee just asked if I recommend a type of tea or alternative to coffee. She's been drinking black tea and it's still pretty acidic if you don't cut it with the milk. This is super true. So again, a lot about tea and coffee has come up lately, and I've been doing some Instagram lives about it as well. I don't offer an alternative. Okay, because they're in my book as a espresso lover, there's not an alternative to coffee. Nothing tastes the same. A lot of this goes into education about the difference between coffee and tea. And black tea is supercharged. Like, it's not as acidic as coffee, but the caffeine is heavy duty. So I try to share this, that like I can tolerate espresso. I cannot tolerate black tea. Like, I will be up for 3 days, even if I drink it at 9 or 8 o'clock in the morning. It is like supercharged to me. So I don't look at it as replacement, right? I don't do swap out foods, but what I really encourage is Tulsi, and what Laura Cepeda over at Modestine Teas educated us on this week was sage tea, because sage is clearing, right? And I've never used it as a tea before. I just ordered some, but Tulsi is the one that I think is really beautiful for those of us who are wood elements or have a lot of fire in our charts, because Tulsi is calming. It's a green leaf. It's holy basil. It's grounding, and hot, hot water creates steam with our fire. So I personally find that Tulsi is the best when we're in this heat generative, gut disorder. Good old organic peppermint tea can be really useful also. But the easy swap would be matcha. For coffee. It's not the same, be clear, and I'm not trying to say it's the same. But if you really want caffeine, little focus, little buzz, little sustained energy, then a green tea. But I'm not big on green tea because green tea can still be very difficult digestively on the gut. It has a oh Lord, it's not a protein that's in it, but there is a specific issue with green tea that I always thought was funny, because everybody's like, oh, drink green tea, but matcha is easier on the stomach, has a wonderful little caffeine buzz, is green. So in theory, it's more cooling to the system. And it's got all the antioxidant properties that you really want as a powerhouse. So I would say matcha or Tulsi. And you might give sage a try. I haven't tried it yet. I just ordered it. So jury's out, but sage is cleansing and clearing. So hello. Okay. I'm looking at the comments before we get into the reading here. Where are the comments? Yeah, I mean, Paula, that's really true. And you guys have seen my posts on Instagram that I've been going to the gym in order to do my mat work, which is common because we have a tiny apartment and it's full-time mom duty right now. I just need some space, right? So I go do my own workout, and I work on series for you guys too also at that time. But it has felt like it's so hot that we are kind of burning up from the inside. So watch what you're consuming, just that's all. And sushi, yes, Valerie. Yeah, tea caffeine metabolizes so differently, and I think it's funny because people always assume that it's a better swap, but for sensitive systems, tea caffeine is still really powerful. So I'm sensitive, so I do not drink black tea. No. It makes me feel like I've taken speed. I do not have that same response with espresso. So, again, it's always about how does your body react. Spend some time understanding your system. This is the whole point of doing the reset, is that you will know your own system best once you've given it some dedicated time to really explore how things hit, how things affect you. It's really different. Oh, sage tea is so good. I can't wait. I'm really excited. Yeah, I just think, a lot of people will put, like mushroom things. There's a lot of mushroom swaps out there for coffee. One, mushrooms are powerful medicinals, like for the system in the body. So you will not hear me, giving recommendations for them. Because for those of us with thyroid issues or autoimmune issues, that's a tricky and slippery slope. So I don't often give those swaps. Plus, they don't taste anything like coffee. I mean, I drink dandelion root tea, but everybody's like, oh, you should do that when you swap. No, that's just insulting and sad. I'm sorry. It's not coffee. So, what else? But if it's barley cup, is it all gluten barley? That's my next question. Let's see. Yeah, and green tea is like, it's real too. So just be honest, be aware of what's going on in your body. Oh, that you're right, Valerie. Yerba mate. Mateo loves yerba mate. Yerba mate does the same, like, woo, crazy buzz to me too. I don't like it, so I don't drink it either. But that's just me, So yeah, I mean, Val, it's so funny because, mushrooms are all the thing and they're powerful. And I like, yeah, right on, Mother Nature. But if you don't know what you're powerfully trying to affect, right, then don't just put natural elements in the body either, because they're natural or they're clean or they're organic. This is the trouble with marketing and PR when it comes to these things. It's like the hot new thing. So charcoal came up this week too, of like, oh, and I don't know if it's still happening, but there was, this period of time where it was like charcoal lemonade and charcoal ice cream everywhere you were. And I was like, y'all don't know what that's doing. Charcoal's powerful as a cleanser and a clean out for the system. But if you're on medication that requires, specific dosing over time, charcoal can't tell the difference of what's a good or a bad, toxin or metal or heavy element in the body. It'll pull medications right out. So I don't use it in my deodorant or in my toothbrushing or, so, and I see zero education about that out there. Meanwhile, if there, it's really useful to save your life and can really clean things out of your gut, but it's not a cure-all and it affects things and people differently. So anyhow, okay, so here. Yeah, this is where I'm a pain in the ass. Like anybody who tells me that there's a tea that has the earthy depth of Val, I'm totally being sweet. I'm like laughing here, of coffee, is a liar. Then they don't really like coffee. Because it has this very particular thing. And I'm not saying it's the best thing in the world, but if you really love it, there's no tea replacement for it. I mean, you can swap habits. And I try to stay away from swapping. What do you want to encourage and cultivate in your body? What do you want to heal? What do you want to, release and let go of? I think the words are really important here. Okay. Yeah, I mean, Paul, I think that's really smart, that it reminds you of coffee the way that carob reminds you of chocolate. Meanwhile, carob, so sweet. There's so much sugar in it. I'm like, that's not chocolate. It's not. Okay, off to the races here. I've got the cards. Let's do our weekly reading, shall we? But good conversation, and just, we need to be having more of it, and I'll put more of it in the tips in the Instagram stories. And here we go. Let's see what our weekly energy forecast is for this week. Again, no major planets shifting, no full moon, no new moon, just a regular old week. What does it offer us? What does it have for us? I'm using the Charmin Caselli deck, Spirit in Which to Move Through Things, Gender Lingo's Soul Space Oracle, and then the Divine Feminine Oracle, Megan Watterson's, because it's become a staple, which I love. Yes, I see you. Okay. And then let's see what the Divine Feminine Oracle is. I like that too. Okay, here we go. All right, so where we're starting from, theme of the week here, This is Six of Pentacles. This is a great one. This is like auspicious. This is constructive. This is the earth element, right? Of time, energy, and money. It's about your resources. Six of Pentacles always heralds sharing. That's number one. When things are stuck, when you feel like things aren't moving, you're like, nothing's coming in. What can I do? Share more, give more. That's not said as a bleed yourself dry element. That's just do something in order to get things moving, right? So Six of Pentacles also comes out as can be unexpected gifts from friends or from other places, like opportunities or things given that you're like, whoa, that kind of restore your faith in things, the goodness of good things happening out of nowhere. But this deck in particular is the nobleman sharing with others. So it's a very, there's not the super communal aspect as there are in other decks. So this is really about giving of yourself, time, money, or resources of finances, donating to something, a little bit more give. And that can, in this energy with all this Leo stuff, feel like, seriously, I'm going to bleed myself dry. So give carefully and thoughtfully, right? But this is about giving. Six is the number of love. So make sure that you're giving out of love. Right? It's not like I'm giving because I expect to get something in return or because the cards told me to. I'm giving because I love something. I love sharing. And I know people they may laugh about it, but it's totally genuine. When we do these giveaways for signups on the site, I love giving stuff away. It's so fun to me to have new members and be like, here's your new present too. I want to get stuff. So do the things that you want to do, right? I love the idea of signing up for something and getting a present along with it. Hooray. That's what I like. So do the things that you like that are heart-centered out of love, that they, this week, the theme is going to be sharing, giving from the heart, being earnest in your giving, that getting yourself out of stuck places and cycles are going to come from you doing something. Because you got to stir the pot. It's like the stew's not really going to be any good unless you stir it and mix up all the juices. So sometimes when energy is really stuck, you have to do the stirring. You have to do the movement. You have to do the effort. But this is about giving. Okay? So theme of the week is going to be about giving in order to get things moving. But be on the lookout, too, for some receiving that you're like, what? That was cool. Why did that happen? Neat. Next best steps for your highest and greatest good. Super simple, super straightforward. And just so you guys know, this is all minor arcana this week. This is day to day. This is functional doing. So we're a little bit out of this epic, karmic spiritual lessons and progressions. We're like, oh, thank God. Next best steps for your highest and greatest good this week. This is Three of Wands. Love me some Three of Wands. Three of Wands is about holding the vision. And if you don't have a vision, it's about creating a vision. This is life by design. We can have the things that we want, but we have to take time to daydream, to imagine, to be expansive, to make the checklist, and to put the effort towards them. In this deck in particular, it's saying you do have the vision and you've set ships on sail. You know what I mean? You packed up, you've got this vision of sending these explorers to unseen unseen territories. Now you've set them out there. Hold the vision for the goal. And you got to wait for the return. You have to wait for them to come back. You have to wait for word. So there's really beauty in this next best steps for our highest and greatest good this week. Really, this is about holding the vision. And I would say there's an extra call out to those who are entrepreneurs, small business owners, launching their own thing, that it's like, no, you've put some effort into it and you packed your ships and you got the ships and you paid for the ships and you've sent them out. And the only thing you can really do this week is hold the vision of what you want to accomplish, what you want to manifest, and wait. And wait and see. Was there a storm that capsized one and, took all the food down with that ship? Or did they all make it to the other shore and, you're on hardy soil that's already growing fruit? You know what I mean? So next best step this week is really about holding the vision, because manifestation is not just about setting it and thinking it. You have to sit in the vision, feel like what it feels like to get the outcome and the reward that you want. What does that feel like to hit your goals? What does that feel like to get what you want? Yes, right? So you have to spend time in it. So visualization in my book is never enough. Like a vision board is never enough. You have to sit in it. It's that meditation and holding the energetics in space so that you are vibrating at the frequency of it already happening, and then allowing it to come in if it's the right thing. If you haven't set ships in motion, then this is the call to, you better start to figure out what your plan is. Because if you don't put your order in with the universe, ain't no way they can bring you what you ordered. Right? So create a vision for your life, or hold tight to the one that you made and just hang in there for a week. Biggest steps towards your highest and greatest good. Oh, 5 of Wands. They must have a son who's a double Aries. So 5 of Wands. 5 is about change. Wands is bravery, courageousness, and willpower. But look, it's like a big old fat argument. And you're like, what? The goal is to argue this week? No. So the biggest step forward for your highest and greatest good is to really back out of silly arguments. 5 of Swords and 5 of Wands, to me, honestly, always end up being the same damn thing. Is that you gotta move out of it. You just cannot participate. There's no point in participating in certain arguments. None. They will bleed you dry. So when you talk about overheating in this Leo solar plexus energy, there's a lot of overheating here, right? So also mention, like, hey, moon's in Aries. Moon is our emotional body. Aries is the like the tiny warrior, right? They're fire, they're hard-headed, and they're quick to anger. So this week is, with all the heat's got some explosiveness to it. Yeah, it's hot already, right? And so we just have to, the biggest thing this week is to just not participate in these silly arguments. You have to change the way you're fighting for things and the way you're protecting things, right? And what's the most infuriating thing to people who are hot-headed and big and loud is when you get real quiet. Just stops, right? It's like putting kerosene on the fire when you argue with people who really like to argue. Or are you the person instigating the argument to be right? Loud is not better. More is not better. So let's get smarter in how we're navigating and how we communicate, rather than getting louder and rougher, right? So this is really, 5 of Wands in this deck is super particularly, it's very masculine. It's very young boy energy, right? Don't know how to process, don't know how to communicate, so I'm just going to throw a punch. It happens sometimes, right? But like, how can we take a breath? How can we back out? How can we not participate in the same way? How can we not add kerosene to the fire, right? So again, if you all have your simple stars chart, look at them. Do you have a lot of air? Do you have a lot of fire? Air and fire together are explosive. You will need grounding. You will need root vegetables. You will need to get on the damn mat, hands and feet, moving in the body, embodiment, and a ton of water. Okay. So, Valerie, I saw your comment and I thought you were like, this week looks like a hot mess. A little bit. but okay. Benefits, assets to this week. This is Page of Cups. Page of Cups has had some shining moments in some readings this week also, in the last week. So if you can see it on the Instagrammies. Page of Cups. Okay, cups are emotions, right? This is about love. This is about connection to the divine. This is about psychic natures and creative endeavors. So the page is learning, right? They go, I don't know. I'm willing, like my post this morning on Instagram, right? I am willing to be really terrible at it because I don't really know how to do this. So pages are awesome because they're putting themselves at the, in stewardship of the universe. I am willing to learn. I'm willing to be bad at it in order to get better at it. Okay. And so Page of Cups also says you can pull meaning and love and creativity out of nowhere, out of unexpected places, if you're looking. Okay. So this is really, because there's a little fish. I don't know if you can see it jumping out of the cup. Right. And it's like, what? It's like he scooped it up to try to get a drink of water and then hear a fish comes barreling at him, like kind of crazy. This is also a call that, like, so this week it says the assets to this week are that, messages can come in unexpected places, but you have to be looking. So you have to be listening to it. Like in our private Facebook group, somebody posted that they heard, what is it, the dawning of Aquarius, something, it was like super cute, and they were like, oh, that was loud to me. The things that feel loud to you are the messages. The things that stand out that seem weird are the messages. And there's been a lot of that going on this week also. So just stay on the lookout for it. This is the benefit. You are getting messages, you are being communicated with, you are being steered in directions and getting confirmation of, like, just keep going, you're on the right path, because you're listening. And listening means being in meditation and getting on the mat. And then I also just hear, like, the hydration has to get up this week because we need things to flow with all this heat. So, unexpected messages. I like that. It's got a really constructive, fun connotation to it too. It's not like unexpected messages where you're like, it's like, oh, okay, well, that sounds fun. Let's try that. Outcome of the week. I dig it. 8 of Pentacles. It's just a really straightforward week, honestly. Like, be willing to share, give a little to stir the energy up, keep your vision, like hold the vision. You've done what you can right now, or create a vision. Step out of the angry, conversations and silly arguments. You're just bleeding yourself. Like, it's just dumb. Honestly, it's not helping. It's just exhausting. Then you're going to getting messages in creative and odd spaces. And the outcome of the week is the 8 of Pentacles. So 8 is empowerment, right? This is the number of empowerment. And 8 of Pentacles always says you can make your own life by design. It's up to you. It's up to the 2 hands what you craft. So this is another reminder of being in co-creatorship of your divine life. There is fate and free will, right? There are gifts and blessings and things that come out of nowhere, but a lot of it, free will, is the most powerful magic we have. What are the choices we're making? What are the things we're visioning? What are the things we're creating? Because it is up to us. If we just sit and wait, ain't nothing good gonna happen, right? But it's asking us not to warrior on the situation and force it. You're gonna have to get more creative. You're gonna have to get a little softer. You're gonna have to cool down in order to get to it. But the outcome of the week is, like, make the life you want. Call it out. Do the steps towards it. Keep working on it. It's a little bit of the keep working card. Bye, Charlotte. I'll see you on Wednesday. I think I said the wrong thing at the beginning. This Wednesday, it's not Katie. It's Charlotte's going to be with us, and I don't want to give that away yet. Okay, so the week is I don't want to say basic. Basic, but it's so functional, right? Like, if you're stuck, stir it up, be clear with your visioning, disengage from the arguments and the hot-headedness, because it's just not solving anything. Be looking for the omens and the messages in odd places, and the outcome is keep working, keep doing, but you are the one in co-creatorship. You are the one crafting your life by design. Ain't nobody else doing it. So if you don't like it, you better make some shifts, revision things. Spirit in which to move through things this week. I thought this was interesting. This is the shadow card. So this is shadow work. And I don't think Cynthia's in the room with us. She's kind of our shadow work expert among the unicorns. What is the shadow work? Shadow work's the dark stuff you don't want to talk about, the things you want to hide, the things that are messy and not pretty, that you're like, oh God, if somebody printed that in the paper, I would really not be okay with that. Nobody can use against you what you accept about yourself. So the shadow work is about loving yourself more wholeness, knowing that no parts of us are bad and need to be hidden. They're just a part of us, and we have to find a way to love them, to soothe them, and to heal them, and to accept them. So yeah, maybe I am a little hot-headed at times. I got a ton of fire in my chart. Maybe I'll pop off sometimes. I accept that. I learn how to take a breath. I learn how to wait to express what I'm upset or angry about. And I learn to do it in ways where I can be heard better. And I apologize when I F up. This is really some of shadow work. The other thing that the shadow work card calls to is, meditations that are a little bit more rooted in healing the dark stuff, or getting an energetic healing from someone. I had one yesterday. It was very interesting. It wasn't necessarily bad, but it was definitely deep. It was like, whoa, okay. Recruit help, ask for help. There's unicorns in here that are, yeah, totally Scorpio realness. Totally. All the Scorpio vibes in this shadow card. So as much as the week looks kind of light, of like functional, okay, cool. Then we get the spirit in which to move through things is with your shadow self. That is not light. That's literally dark. Right? So this is, yes. 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 Valerie. Valerie says she's been finding the call to lean and accept the shadows in a full moon kind of way, illuminated, soft, and feminine to move forward with my visions lately. Yes. This is it. I mean, this is like, the shadow self is what we battle, but this is the difference between a light worker and a witch, and why I always attribute myself as a witch, because witches work in the light and in the dark, knowing that every, soul is duality. There's both. None of us are squeaky clean because we're human. It's a mess, right? So we have to learn how to accept the messes. As a culture, this is huge right now. We can't get rid of our messes as a country, but we can accept that we made them and then learn how to clean them up and move forward. So acceptance doesn't mean, approval. It means, I get it. We did that. Now we got to do something else better, right? So moving through this week with your shadow, no small task. Okay, 26 seconds on the Instagram countdown clock. What's the last card here? Diana, Queen of the Wilderness. The language of the natural world is a frequency of love. This is my mother tongue. Yes. Okay, so I'm going to read the full card, but Instagram, I'll have the photograph of this full spread up today in the feed, probably around 4:30. And then if you have questions about anything, you know where to find me. So let's read Diana. She comes up a lot for this group. The basics of Diana is usually about holding the focus in order to get what you need and what you want. So again, we get that double up confirmation, which I love so much. Okay, 190, let's see. Okay, Diana, Queen of the Wilderness. The language of the natural world is a frequency of love. This is my mother tongue. Diana represents the call to embody a more primal connection to the wildness that exists within. Hello, shadow self. The goddess Diana was worshipped in the ancient Roman religion that originated in Italy. She is the daughter of Jupiter and Latona, born on the island of Delos, with her twin brother Apollo, god of the sun. The temple of Diana in Rome dates back to the 6th century BCE. She was the protectress and patroness of the lower class and slaves who could seek sanctuary in her temples. The temple of Diana in Ephesus, also attributed to the Greek goddess Artemis, was considered one of the 7 wonders of the ancient world. It took 220 years to build, and the magnificent statue of Diana covered in breasts symbolized her worship as a fertility goddess for women. Paul, in the Acts of the Apostles in the New Testament, mentions Diana's temple since her following was extensive and seen as a threat to Christianity. Ooh, no. The most famous place to worship Diana was in the sacred grove of oak trees on the shores of Lake Nemi near Rome. Out in nature, connected to the earth and to the wild animals that roam freely across us. Here, she is the huntress with the golden bow and arrows. She is the independent, free-spirited goddess who communes with the moon, the natural world, and all those who cannot speak for themselves. I think if I had to pick a goddess for unicorn wellness, it would really be Diana. She comes up so frequently for us. When your soul selects her card, sometimes the answer is the simple elemental need to just walk barefoot in the grass, or even better, the mud. Sometimes we get so caught up in what's happening or what isn't happening that we forget to just be. We forget that there is tremendous power surging up from the earth, wanting to take whatever energy is no longer serving us. We forget that we can commune with the trees, those ancient protectors and elders whose language comes with the help of the wind and the slow, soft caress that touches our cheek. Answers sometimes need to come from the basic desire of the body to feel grounded here on earth. Diana is associated with fertility, the phases of the moon, and the ability to communicate with animals. Of course, not with any human language, but with the frequency of love and intention, which animals perceive. If we open ourselves up to it, we can connect to the wisdom of the natural world, even if we live far from it. Even if we're deep in the heart of the busiest city, a sign on a bus, a logo on a t-shirt, or a card someone has sent us may carry an image of the animal that wants us to reach us. Signs and messages in uncommon places, right? I mean, or common places. I think some are new to like how we receive messages. It's anywhere and everywhere, right? So, or we may be visited by a possum on the fire escape or a hawk on a window ledge. We don't have to be in the wilderness to access the wisdom of the natural world. The wilderness is within us. We are part of it. There's so much more we can receive from the world, wordless life all around us. We have to develop the heart that can hear it. Soul voice meditation. What spirit animal has medicine or a message to give me in this moment? And the intention is the language of the natural world is a frequency of love. This is my mother tongue. I mean, it always comes together in the end, doesn't it? So yeah, I mean, energy is the frequency. It is the language that we all speak. Getting on the mat, being a unicorn at unicornwellness.studio is my gift to return us to that frequency more and more, to help us tune to that frequency, to hear things, to know things, to see our signs, symbols, and omens, and the gratitude and the magic of life in the seemingly mundane, right? So I always talk about messages as things that feel loud to us. I don't, at this moment, know a better way to explain it. You know, somebody will be talking and there's like this sentence that just like, won't you like, did somebody yell that? Like, these are the messages. When you read the hot points that you're like, whoa, that was loud to me. These are the messages, you know? Cynthia, you're here. I mentioned you earlier because the shadow work is your work. But it's the work, you know? Ah, Lee, you got camel today. I haven't pulled my personal cards yet today. But man, it was all, my little healing last night was all of the mess of like, you need to cool down, you know? So well, there was something else in here in this card that I wanted to share. Now I don't remember what it was. I don't know. Getting on the mat really is a grounding element. It does return us to the frequency. It grounds intentions and physical nature, and it is about embodiment. And I keep meaning to do more about embodiment because I think it's one of those hot words that we think we know what it means, but we don't really. Embodiment to me is really, you know, the integration of the soul with the physical body. That we understand that we're human and divine all in one, but making the soul more comfortable in the human body by learning to work with the humanness of it, right? So throwing that out there too. You kicked yourself off. That's funny. Oh, Cynthia, I was having the same morning. I knocked over the IG camera like when I started. So there. All right, you all, I love you so very much. If you will take the moment to click the like button here, it's very appreciated. For those of you that the work speaks to, I am always so blown away and grateful for those who share these videos. It's really powerful and important, and it's never missed in gratitude, really, promise. And so very much appreciated if you feel the call to share it. Just throwing it out there in the interwebs is energy, like throwing stardust out there. So thank you. And please, if you haven't subscribed yet, subscribe. Like, we're here every Monday and you can come back to these to listen and to watch. I love you guys so very much. We do have a live on Wednesday. I think I said the wrong damn thing at the beginning of the video. I think that Charlotte's with me on Wednesday. She's in the UK. She's an artist. She's a unicorn. And I think the last week of this month is Katie, who is a cancer survivor and a friend of mine and just a badass mama. Am I shifting the schedule in September? Probably not, because we've been at 11 o'clock on Mondays since we began. So because of family and kids schedule, I think the schedule will remain the same at 11 o'clock. Oh, yay. Yeah. I'm like, no, I'm like, oh, I hope that's okay. Because I'm on the East Coast, it usually works for most of our unicorns for me to be in this 11 a.m. time slot. So I'm not changing the schedule. As you all are seeing, I'm changing some of the offerings and some of the private one-on-ones, but my private schedule is still on Wednesdays for readings. But I am going to all offline readings aside from the small group coaching that I'm going to offer, that the offer will be out this week that we talked about at the beginning. So yeah, no, schedule stays the same. We're on target. I love you all so much. Thank you for being here with me this morning and every week. And I'll get this photo on Instagram today, so you can go back and look at the photo. And then, things like we talked about, like the tea and the mushrooms and things like that, I'll try to integrate more of that in the Instagram feed and the unicorn tips, because they're important things to know. But I love you all so much. Thank you for being here, and I'll see you next week. Bye, guys.